Fisher, your host of Unleashing LinkedIn on Society Bites Radio. I help entrepreneurs, business owners, service professionals get out of that LinkedIn witness protection program so they can book 2 to 10 appointments a week with their ideal prospects and referral partners using LinkedIn and add an additional potentially $5,000 to over $100,000 to their income using LinkedIn. Today, I am delighted to welcome my guest, LYNDEE ELDRIDGE. And I have not had the privilege of actually meeting LYNDEE in person, but I was actually introduced to her through a mutual friend of ours, Cammie Baker, and I was on her show, The Happiness Jungle. And LYNDEE is just such an amazing person that I had to have her as a guest on Society Bites Radio, Unleashing LinkedIn. So let me tell you a little bit about her. LYNDEE ELDRIDGE is your CHO, Chief Happiness Officer, and founder of the Happiness Jungle LLC. But in addition, LYNDEE is an entrepreneur, mentor, a #1 best-selling contributor, international author, a keynote speaker, a breast cancer survivor, humorist, co-partner with Les Brown, Happiness Companion. She's the creator and producer of a TV personality, the host of I'm Crazy, But You Can't Lock Me Up podcast, and the creator of the Happiness Jungle Emotional Support Body Pillow. I have a feeling, LYNDEE, that this could go on for a long time because you are so incredibly qualified. So I'm delighted to invite you to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Rhonda, thank you so much. You know, we have never met in person. We've only spoken. And every time we do, you just add smiles and joy into my life. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for this invitation and being who you are.
Well, thanks. You know, you're an inspiration as well. And I have so many questions for you. I mean, I know, like me, you're a keynote speaker, but you're a keynote happiness speaker. That sounds a whole lot more fun than LinkedIn, to tell you the truth. And I know you have a podcast, which I love the title of. I'm Crazy, But You Can't Lock Me Up. But the one thing that I'd love to hear about, you know, you're a breast cancer survivor, and, you know, all we hear about these days is COVID. And, you know, the thing that's happened as a result of that is that there are a lot of people that are suffering with a lot of other things, and that has kind of fallen to the wayside. And yet, breast cancer and all of the other things that go along, you know, just are getting the attention and probably not the kind of money to help cure that they would have been getting. But you actually created something very interesting, which was a pillow for helping breast cancer survivors. Can you talk a little bit about that emotional support body pillow?
I can. Thank you so much, Rhonda. You know, we have to live life on purpose. We have to understand that everything that we go through in life, there's purpose. It's not what happens to us. It truly is what happens for us if we could just remove the dark cloud. And I've been really digging deep into personal development for 36 years. I mentor so many. So I have to live my true purpose in order to be able to be transparent and authentic. Well, I did find out that I had the breast cancer in September of 2017. And then 3 weeks into the radiation, I got a divorce.
Oh my gosh.
it was pretty heavy, you know. However, because of how I look at life, I just look at life differently. Well, to be honest with you, in life, okay, if something is working for you, you can make a fortune with it. So I saw this body pillow and I got it, and it was online, and I received it, and it was to sit up. It was to be comfortable in bed. Little did I know I was going to go ahead and create it in a different dimension so it hugged me at night. Feeling the biggest thing with the breast cancer for me was the lonely nights, not being hugged, not having that support by your spouse. And lo and behold, there it was. It was a pillow that I now wrapped around me, and it hugged me every night. I never lost a night's sleep, and I felt very loved. And I could pull one of the arms as tight as I wanted it to for it to hug me. So fast forward, now I'm speaking on a lot of different stages, and again, what was the purpose of the breast cancer? Well, I wrote a book. It's called Squeeze My Tatas.
I want to just jump in with something because it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you know this about me, but I got divorced after 28 years of marriage. And during the time I was divorced for 6 years. And the thing that was interesting that I never knew, now I did remarry my ex-husband almost 5 years ago. So I lovingly say I have a husband, didn't have to change my name, and the kids are ours. But when I was divorced, I found sleeping alone very difficult. But what my husband did, and I didn't know this until we remarried, is he started sleeping with a pillow next to him, right? So now I say to him, wait a minute, you have a wife. You need to get rid of that pillow. That's what I'm for, right? And when you told me that story, it just reminded me, because I said, why do you sleep with a pillow here for 28 years? We always had this little joke. Okay, and I know we're on radio, so probably my husband wouldn't appreciate me sharing this, but he would always say before we went to bed, AP, which was assume the position, which was spooning, right? And so we would spoon every night before we went to sleep. It was called AP. And then when we got divorced, well, that disappeared for both of us. And so he put a pillow there. Right? And I was like, hey, I'm back. Let's get rid of the pillow. So I love, the background of the story. So continue, because I love that.
Yeah, and I know the exact body pillow that you are referring to, that your husband was snuggling in replace of you. But mine is a U-shaped pillow, and one of the pillows support your knees, right? Because we usually sleep, like you said, we spoon, right? Which means you go into fetal position and you just get all comfy. So the pillow in front of me that's attached to this one pillow goes in between my knees. And then the other one is in back of me that goes underneath my arm and hugs me just like somebody would hug you. And
wow.
I spoke about it on the stages, and I wrote about it in the book, Squeeze My Tatas. People were asking for it, and I didn't have it. I was just sharing what was comforting me, because I'm a solutionist. And then I decided to go ahead and produce it, and I did. And so now the Happiness Jungle Emotional Support Body Pillow is not helping people for emotional support, for loneliness, anxiety, depression, but it's also helping those that are having health issues. So whether it's heart or back or knee or hip, or even children that have autism, and everybody, it's just amazing.
How do you market this pillow? I mean, I think it's amazing. I'm always thinking about everything through the lens of LinkedIn, because that's the lane that I live in, right?
Yes.
But how do you market this? Because I would think that this is something that is more of a word of mouth, unless, physicians are starting to market it, or chiropractors or therapists. How do you market something like this? Because it's absolutely brilliant. I would think it should be on Shark Tank.
Well, I appreciate that. And, Shark Tank is fabulous. I watch it all the time. It's brilliant. Okay. If you want to have what others have, just watch what they're doing. That's number one. So, and at a convention, and then I'll go back to your question, but at a convention, a 10X convention, because I believe in investing in myself to make myself better. And I was at a Grant Cardone convention in Miami. One of the speakers was Damon John.
Ooh.
Watch what you ask for, people, because when you ask the universe and God for things, doors open up. With that being said, I went ahead and hired Damon John and his team and became a part of his program. And I learned so much about creating, protecting, trademarking. I learned so much, right, that I went ahead and I started to produce the pillow. And I was speaking about it on stages, which meant that they were with me. And at every event, I was selling them out. However, Corona has hit. So I decided, because there were so many people, and you were hearing it, they were becoming very, very depressed. Domestic violence was becoming higher. People weren't feeling well. And I decided to go ahead and open up my phone lines for free for people all over the world. That I didn't want them to feel stuck. I wanted them to realize that there's a solution to get out of their mental block. During these phone calls, many people knew about the pillow, but they couldn't afford it because they weren't getting any money coming in. I decided, Lindy, go ahead and start a GoFundMe page called Donate a Hug. And those that could afford it and love to give back will. So now I have donors donating the pillow to either themselves, somebody that they know, or to complete strangers. And because I had a list of people that needed and wanted the pillow, it was a pay it forward movement. And it did very well.
I love that. I can imagine that in the nursing homes and some of the senior living places where people are very isolated, that this is a game changer for a lot of people.
It's a game changer. So, again, I will go back to, if it works for you, you can make a fortune. There are millions and millions and millions of people in the world. Don't worry about somebody that's going to steal your idea. This is a repurposed pillow. All I want to do is make a difference and let people know that I have this pillow and it is a game changer. And people are receptive to it. I have sold almost 200 pillows and I have not had one return, but I have so many testimonials about it with all different people, from the young to the old.
Where do you sell your pillows? How can somebody find them?
I would like them to go to GoFundMe and then put in donate-a-hug. That's where they'll be able to see the pillow. That's where they'll be able to read the testimonials and order it as well.
Wow. And where do you manufacture these pillows? So, what do they typically cost? I'm sure people are asking, so.
I'm so happy that you asked those questions. So the pillow is $69.95 plus shipping and handling and the tax. And if you're local and you're in Florida, I live in South Florida, I do deliver them to your doorstep. So that saves you the shipping and the handling, because I don't mind doing that.
Can't give them a hug with it, though, because of COVID, right? The hug has to come later.
Exactly. However, once they open that up, they are hugged. They are so hugged. And they are going to be, I found my manufacturer down in Miami, and they are going to be produced now in the United States.
That is such a great idea. I think that for so many people, especially going through divorce, going through illness, going through all kinds of things, we don't think about how the small things make such a big difference. And, I do know that when you have something next to you, like a body pillow, especially one that's, specifically designed, it can make the difference between a good night's sleep and no sleep, right? It can make the difference between feeling like you're alone when you're watching TV, or feeling like, there's that sense of comfort. It's like an old friend. So I just commend you for, actually taking something that was a situation that nobody would wish on anybody, two bad things all at once, and look what you did with it. I mean, talk about making lemonade out of lemons. Is that what you do with everything? It's amazing.
I really do. I think about it. I think about, how can I serve this into something that is a solution for others? And you want to know what else I do? This is hilarious.
What?
Hilarious, okay? I love to have a good time. I love to help people have a good time. I became a happiness companion.
Can we rent you out?
Yes. I have got clients literally all over the place. So one of the questions, it's like, okay, so I decided there are a lot of people out there that are very, very lonely, and they're not living their life because they have nobody to go to dinner with, go for a walk with, go on travel with, go to parties with, get-togethers with. And I said, wait a second, like an escort service, but no sex, right? I have this one gentleman in New York, and he said to me, okay, you'll travel. And I shared with him what the agreement is, right? And he goes, all right. He said, but then what do I do at night? And I said, well, I'm glad you asked, because part of your package, you get a Happiness Jungle emotional support body pillow to hug.
You sound like you should be on an infomercial.